Hey guys, and welcome back to Hoops Lounge, the team that's more fundamental than Tim Duncan in Game 6 of the playoffs. We're joined here by today Mr. Marc Griffin, aka Montreal Mark, Justin Rowan, aka Cavs Canada, and myself, Phil Boileau, aka Sporting Phil. We're going to break down, as Mark would like to say it, a bevy of basketball. We have many subjects. The first one that we want to talk about today is Game 7. We have Miami and Toronto. Last night, Miami won Game 6. Wasn't the prettiest of games, but we're going to have a Game 7. Justin, we'll go to you first. Which team, you being a Cleveland guy, do you think actually, even though we have all these injuries, has the best shot of dethroning the Cavs in the East?
I'll hit you back with a question. If we combined what was left of these teams, how many games does it get out of the Cavs? Because I'm saying 6 tops. Both of these teams are so injured, especially if Jonas Valanciunas. Dwane Casey said that he's still far away. So if Toronto's starting Bismack Biyombo, there's no reason for the Cavs not to run out Channing Frye at center, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, LeBron, Kyrie, and just space the floor out. We saw how Toronto struggled against a spaced-out floor with Miami going with their no big lineup, and that's wings that can't even shoot. So when you consider Toronto was the second worst three-point defensive team, Miami, with their injuries, they just don't seem capable of scoring or shooting. I don't see either team really
but you
posing
still
a big
have
threat.
to pick a team. You have to answer the question. This is kind of like
I'm going to go with Miami.
like a Greg Popovich.
I'm going to go with Miami. I'm going to go with Miami just because you have the whole LeBron South Beach thing. Maybe something mentally weird happens there. And they also can go smaller than I think Toronto is capable of doing effectively. And that could maybe give some complications with Kevin Love, but I don't consider either to be a serious threat.
All right. Well, Mark, on the other side of the ball, we have the Raptors. Given the streaky nature of the shooting of their guards, being it Terrence Ross, being it DeMar DeRozan, being it Lowry, who do you see being a real X factor in a positive or negative way for Game 7? Like who do you think is really going to stand out as the guy who wins it or loses it for them?
Dwane Casey. By the way, I don't know how we're more fundamentally sound than Tim Duncan, but Dwane Casey.
In Game 6? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute. But Dwane not playing Norm Powell, I'm just seeing how Justice Winslow and Richardson have been blooming during these playoffs just by getting minutes at the most crucial time of the year. And just Norm Powell got 3 minutes last night. His rotations have been strange to me. It's nice to see Biyombo really relishing the starting power forward center role right now, but Casey's got to really push them defensively. He's got to get DeMar defending better, less isolation ball offensively, and show his worth at home. And what is the biggest game this team's had since 2001. So it's on Dwane Casey tomorrow, and I'm with Justin. I think Miami's going to take it.
All right, and
I didn't say that. I said Miami would be the biggest threat. I think Toronto's going to take Game 7, okay, but I think Miami would be theoretically the bigger threat to Cleveland.
And just a last question I'll throw it to both of you on this. Let's just say it's a last-second shot and Kyle Lowry hits a corner 3 where, as we remember, Vince Carter missed the 3, and it puts them into the Eastern Conference Finals. Or maybe he's been there longer. DeMar DeRozan, either or. Is there a chance either one of them supplant Vince on that list in Toronto, or they still have more to prove?
On a popularity list, maybe. If you're talking about who is the better player, I don't care what either of them does. Overall, their playoff performances have been weak. Vince Carter, you're likely talking about a Hall of Fame player there. When you consider everything he's done in his career. So from a popularity standpoint, yeah, probably. That would be the furthest the Raptors have ever gone in the playoffs. But in terms of kind of on the all-time list, I can't put either of them, no matter what they do in Game 7, over Vince Carter.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. I personally, actually, I'm going to go on a limb and actually think that Miami's going to take it. And I think Joe Johnson is going to be the thorn, as he's always been in Toronto's side, and somehow find a way to make this win.